Welcome to On the Air with Dr. Willie. This week we study our first presentation in our university series. We travel to college campuses all over the U.S. and help their athletes get the competitive advantage. In this series, Dr. Willie discusses the concept of Better Than Steroids. Better Than Steroids is a book written by Dr. Warren Willie that can be purchased on our website, drwillie.com. Due to time constraints, part of this presentation have been cut out. If you want the full message, read Better Than Steroids. Thank you and enjoy.
To this day, I think a lot of people are real surprised when they see who flies into Pocatello, Idaho for me to take care of them. And yeah, a lot of these pros and stuff are on steroids. And I can tell you, it's predominant in the sport. All sports. However, there's something better. And even better than that, it's legal. And that's what we teach these guys from the pro level all the way down to 4th and 5th graders is, guys, learn how to eat, learn how to modify your nutrition, learn when to eat according to your exercise and your training schedule, and it truly is better than steroids. I can show you some, I'm going to show you a few research articles that have shown it, equivalent, side to side. Guys on 3 or 4 drugs versus guys and gals who knew how to eat right. These guys not only had just as much weight gain, muscle gain, speed and endurance improvement, but they maintained it. Protein. We have to have protein in our diets. If you talk to the American Dietetic Association, if you talk to anybody who's in nutrition in here, we're trained and taught that Americans have plenty of protein. Well, I've had dinner with, I've sat and talked with some of the world's protein experts, the guys that take care of the pro football teams, the pro basketball teams, the teams all over the world. These guys take care of these people, and they tell you, especially in athletes, we don't get enough protein in. And we eat protein wrong in this country. We have a bunch of carbs for breakfast, a bunch of carbs for lunch, and then we eat some protein at dinner with a steak or a chicken or whatnot. Learn how to do protein. We're going to talk about that. I have a presentation that we had a couple of respondents on the last survey answered. They want to hear more on protein, so we may talk about that again later. And number 4, you have to control stress. Now, the best way to control stress is the first 3. Make sure you're recovering, make sure you're exercising, make sure you're getting protein in. So if I can teach people how to eat right and exercise, especially on an athletic level at your guys' age, you're going to be set for life. You would not believe the number of athletes, including pro athletes, that I see that are now 56 years old, extremely overweight, extremely out of shape, have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart disease. Some of them already had stents or strokes, saying, what happened to me? Why? Because they never learned how to eat. They exercised so much during their career that they really made up for the bad eating until they stopped. I break it down to a 5th food group. To me, sugar is a separate food group. Most people will tell you sugar goes under carbohydrates, because it does. If I was to read a nutrition textbook at any level, graduate level down, it would say sugar is a carbohydrate. But when you deal with sugar like I do, from a medical, physiological standpoint and an athletic standpoint, it is a separate and distinct nutrient, because it stimulates hormones in your body that are just like steroids. It stimulates some of the strongest growth-promoting, muscle-building hormones in your body when you use it right, and that's what we're going to talk about. But what happens with fat loss and fat storage occurs by training, and you train via your diet. You can actually increase the amount of fat you're burning, build muscle, by simply having a good meal after you exercise. After every practice, every game, you should be able to burn fat, and I'm going to show you that and show you some studies that show how well that works. Let me cover some basic bariatric principles. Bariatrics means the study of weight-related disorders and the treatment thereof. Bariatric, was that a question there, buddy, or a stretch?
Oh,
no, you're good. If you have any questions, please stop me. You've all heard that it takes 3,500 calories to burn a pound of fat off. So if I need to lose a pound of fat, I'm going to go run for 3,500 calories worth, right? Well, muscle only takes 363 calories to burn it off. So if you're exercising as hard as everyone in this room does, but you're not feeding your body appropriately, especially with protein, you lose muscle. With the pro athletes I work with, we do DEXA scans on them about once every 2 weeks during the preseason. DEXA scans are a real fancy way to measure their body fat. to see if they're losing muscle or fat. And then we adjust their diet appropriately. Obviously, the coaches have a very set training regimen. They have a very set lifting exercise schedule, very set cardio schedule, very set practice schedule. So our job on the nutrition side is let's make sure they can maintain that muscle, if not build it, while they're training that hard. And so if I directed your diet, if you came to me with a weight problem, and I wanted you to lose 30 pounds in 30 days, that is so easy for me to do. Why? Because I know exactly what to target. I'm going to target your biceps. Because if I target your biceps, I can make you lose over 3 pounds a day in muscle. Why? Because it's mostly water. 80% water, 20% protein is basically what muscle is. Muscle also turns over its protein. So one thing you'll hear me talk about having protein adequately at every meal, not just at night, is your muscles continually change. The biceps you guys had your last week are not the same biceps you have this week. Protein turned over. Losing it, because I guarantee if you guys aren't eating correctly, as hard as you guys train, you're losing muscle. And that's why in the off season it's so easy to gain muscle back or weight back or fat back, because your muscle is also part of your metabolism. Part of the ability for your body to burn fat is the amount of muscle you have. So if we're talking about muscle cells, when someone takes an anabolic steroid, one of the first things it does is it increases protein synthesis. You know, not 5 minutes ago I just told you your muscle, your biceps you had last week are not the same biceps you have this week. If you're taking steroids, the biceps you had yesterday are not the same biceps you have today, because that protein turnover is so great. That's part of the reason people that take steroids can go bench 450 and the next day go bench 450 without being that sore, is the muscle literally is turned over. Protein synthesis increases greatly with anabolic steroids. Increase in nutrient uptake. So people that take anabolic steroids can eat more and get away with more and eating crappy. I say in one of my books, it's been quoted in a couple magazines, is steroids are a great way to hide crappy eating, because nutrient uptake is increased. You utilize what you take better. But I'm about to tell you guys that you can do that anyway with just simply adding a good post-workout meal. So post-practice, post-game, making sure you're having a proper meal, and your body actually learns to uptake nutrients better. You learn to burn fat more efficiently. You learn to build muscle. Again, everything we're getting to. So again, everything steroids do, we can do with food. They do work. You'll read some medical articles. I still read medical articles I giggle at that say they don't work. Oh, I know they work. I've seen it on all levels. But they work for the same reasons food can work in your advantage. And again, like I shared with you earlier, safer, cleaner, and legal, which is a big thing. So anyway, everything you try to do with exercise to your body, yes, you're getting better at your sport. Yes, you're learning your plays, your game. But really for your body, if I was to look at your body from a biochemical aspect, exercise is beating the crap out of you. It really is. So what do you have to do? You have to recover. That's really what we're after. We have to learn how to recover. So it's important. We want to get anabolic and get away from catabolic. One thing that's important with that is the timing of your meal is as important as what the meal is made of. How many people knew you had to have a good post-workout meal to recover immediately following exercise? Most people are aware of that. Some aren't. It's surprising how a lot of us aren't trained in that. And that's one reason I'm here. I want to tell you the timing of that meal is as important as what that meal consists of. So let's talk about some of that. If you exercise vigorously, and if you have a protein-based post-workout or post-exercise or post-event or post-practice meal, you will start to recover. In other words, it's just like steroids. Your body learns how to burn fat quicker, you build more muscle, you replenish energy stores, you're less sore, and you're literally ready to do it again the next day. It's exactly what happens with the right workout, post-workout meal. Excuse me. There's some very, very good studies, and I just listed a couple here because these studies were equivalent to the studies they did with guys and gals on steroids. Okay? What this basically says was, this shows the timing of importance. They gave these people a carbohydrate, so a sugar and protein-based meal immediately following exercise for Group A, and then Group B got one 2 hours later. And basically what it says is Group 1's, their quadricep size, and they believe it or not, they took biopsies of the muscle. So they took what's about the size of a number 2 pencil chunk of muscle out of these suckers or experimentees. That's okay. And looked at their muscle under the microscope. Well, the guys and gals that had a post-workout meal immediately following their exercise had a 7% increase and a 15% increase in cross, or 24% increase in cross-fiber strength. In other words, their strength, their speed, their endurance, their ability to burn fat, and protein turnover was tremendously increased just because of the time they took their post-workout meal. The group that waited 2 hours, no changes. Now I know we've all done this because I've done this. You get home from practice, you're too tired to eat, you don't want to do anything, wait a couple hours, well guess what? You just missed the window. So let's see if anybody can get this. What's the most powerful growth hormone there is?
Glucose.
Very close. Glucose.
Insulin.
Ding, ding, ding. Insulin. How many people, who that surprise anybody? Most people say testosterone. I've heard growth hormone. I've heard even a few of the anabolic steroids yelled out. The most growth promoting, muscle building, strength providing, endurance giving hormones in your body is insulin. Yes, the same thing diabetics take because they don't make it. It's made by a little organ that looks like a fish, about right here on the left side of your chest. It's a little behind the spleen, the way the Lord made it. Insulin. Every time you eat, sometimes when you think about food, insulin starts to come up. But it is the most growth-promoting hormone there is. If you do not eat right, it causes growth of fat. Hence the problem in our country, and you just have to walk outside and see that. Those are people who are using that growth-promoting hormone wrong. All of us in this room, if we learn how to use it properly with proper nutrition, not only during the season, post-exercise, and off-season, you will do nothing but build muscle. Insulin is your best friend or it's your worst enemy. In my obesity clinic, it's people's worst enemy. I have to adjust it. I have to help them lower it. But for all you guys in this room, we need to learn how to spike it at the right time, build the muscle, recover quicker. It is the most powerful hormone out there. I'm going to tell you about some great examples of good post-workout meals, but this is what it does. This is what a post-workout meal done at the right time does for you. Increases your muscle mass. It decreases muscle damage. In other words, you recover quicker. Accelerates repair. It replenishes glycogen source, so you have the energy source for the next day. Increases nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a vasodilator. Increases blood flow. That gets all the lactic acid and all the toxins out from the strenuous exercise and brings in the good stuff, brings in the nutrient. Hence part of the nutrient uptake. And really that's what we want to teach you guys. Don't go for the get big, get fast, get strong, quit scheme. It doesn't work in the long run. Take patience, understand what you're doing. That's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for, what Coach is here for, Jeff's here for. We're here to help you guys not only be the best you can be now, but best you can be in 10 years, 20 years from now. Excellent question, Coach. Anybody else? Again, we'll get these handouts for you. You email me if you have any questions or you want to talk about something. If you want to talk about something personal, I'd be happy to sit and talk to you about it. We just want to see you guys succeed. So please do the survey so I know what you guys want to hear next. And tell me if you guys want handouts, PDFs, emails, whatnot. I'll just overload you with information in your interest in this field of sports nutrition. It's what I love, and I'm happy to share anything I have with you. So thank you very much.
This podcast is brought to you by Dr. Warren Willey of drwilley.com and Salmon River Practice Management. If you are interested in the university program or any of the other fitness and weight loss programs available, please check us out at drwilley.com. We look forward to posting more podcasts. If you have an idea for a podcast, please email us at ace@drwilley.com. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Check out our site for details, and have a great day.